Hey everyone, got a minute? It's time for a progress update from Transparent Path. Hi everyone, and welcome to our January 2021 progress update. I'm Eric Weaver, founder and CEO of Transparent Path. While things may have seemed quiet on our net capital page, we've been busy working on our first big enterprise pilot, and I wanted to give you more insight into our efforts to reduce food waste and financial risk. First of all, a huge and heartfelt thank you to the folks who've become part owners of our company, despite all the uncertainty we've seen over the last 12 months. It's the ultimate endorsement, and believe me when I say that the management team is deeply grateful for your faith in us. It's one thing to work hard towards a goal. It's another completely to have people invest their hard-earned dollars towards our efforts, especially this year. So again, thank you for believing in our team and our cause. When we started the company in 2018, I was focused on bringing more trust and traceability to the food we eat. Traceability sounds like a great thing, right? Well, what we've learned over the past 2 years, particularly during the epidemic, is that the world's needs go far beyond traceability. Companies and consumers want the ability to see with certainty and trust where a product has been and what's happened to it, all the way from the time it was produced to the time it was consumed. In addition to more supply chain visibility, the world needs the ability to know exactly when something is going wrong in the supply chain so that whomever has the product can intercede and save it. This is not just about simple traceability. It's not about blockchain. The world needs a number of technologies working in concert to build trust in a world that's simply often untrustworthy. Before I go into that, let me introduce you to the first two people who trusted enough in me to join me on this journey. First is Mark Kammerer, our Chief Commercial Officer. Mark is a former client and friend whom I've known since 2011. He was the former general manager for Expedia, former head of sales and marketing for Holland America Line, and worked on food brands like Pillsbury and General Mills. I've never met anyone with more rigorous and balanced thinking and judgment than Mark. He's the bedrock of our team. Also in 2019, my longtime friend and former colleague, Paul A. Wood, took on the role of Director of Experience. Paul A. was not only the best man at my 2001 wedding, but also has served as creative director for IBM and head of last mile user experience for Amazon. Coupled with their focus on social justice, equitable trade, and sustainability, Paul A. is the conscience of our team and the perfect person to act as our chief storyteller. In 2020, we added 3 new rock stars to the team. First was our new CTO, Sunil Kaduri. Sunil is a cloud computing and machine learning expert who not only was a senior executive at Microsoft for many years, but launched his own successful AI product. Sunil is a fantastic manager of our relationships with Intel and Microsoft. He's also a huge Seahawks fan, so extra double bonus points from my perspective. Shortly after, Greg Lind joined our team as Director of Platform. Greg is an expert in open source development and has launched a number of startups in the food and STEM fields. He's managed our dev teams as they've added products to our MVP. Greg also keeps my feet on the ground when I'm imagining all the extra features that I want to add to our platform. In April 2020, our team was rounded out with our Director of Product, Lauren Adler. Lauren has an amazingly diverse background that includes stints as a Wall Street analyst, a perishables department manager at an East Coast grocery chain, leading supply chain integration for Amazon, and serving as the vice president for the Fine Chocolate Industry Association. It's really humbling and exciting to have this incredible team working towards our mission. While most of the team started their careers in the food business, the scope of our platform goes far beyond food to any kind of high-value perishable. That could be high-margin proteins like beef or seafood, chocolate or wine, highly regulated products like hemp or cannabis, or even COVID vaccines. For all of these things, trust happens when we know where something came from, how it got to us, and what happened to it along the way. This is especially important this coming year because of the issues we're seeing across the supply chain: false marketing claims, product diversion and theft, product swapping, mislabeling, and the finger pointing, the lawsuits, and the massive reconciliation costs that result when no one in the supply chain really knows why a load of perishables was lost. When you think of COVID vaccines in particular, not only is the continuity of cold chain absolutely imperative in terms of preserving the vaccine's value, but also its efficacy. What if a truck gets diverted, the cold chain gets broken? The vaccine is exposed to room temperature, as we saw in the news recently, and then it continues on its way to a hospital. What if doctors, nurses, or patients couldn't 100% trust that the vaccine hadn't become inert through a break in the cold chain? Keep in mind, today's cold chain is still widely powered by paper records, emails, and fax machines, and simply doesn't have enough end-to-end visibility to ensure that the product really is what we hope it is. Did you know that each year, 10% of all medications produced globally are counterfeit? Did you know that every year between 72,000 and 170,000 children die from pneumonia after receiving counterfeit antibiotics? It's the same with counterfeit insulin, counterfeit heart medication. The packaging on these fake meds is often such a perfect replication that it's impossible to tell the meds are counterfeit. You can bet that the pandemic vaccines will generate more interest from bad actors than any medication in decades, maybe even in history. That means product diversion, theft, counterfeiting, and the sales of product that may have been made inert during transport due to a break in the cold chain. Think about that. The challenge, the really important challenge, is about rebuilding trust. When I think of a way to describe our team, it's that we've all been around the block, maybe several times for some of us, and that our BS detectors are set too high. We really dislike not knowing because no one can make good decisions with bad data. So we're bringing together the technologies required to create real, true end-to-end visibility in the products that we consume. Again, from the time that they're produced to the time that you receive them. This requires accurate sensor devices. It requires rock-solid data security and as much transparency and data collaboration as we can bake into our system. I'd like to talk about social purpose for a moment. 7 months ago, our team made the conscious decision to reincorporate as an SPC, or Social Purpose Corporation. We chose this type of business formation for two reasons. First, we wanted to bake our mission to fight food waste and financial risk into the DNA of our business. And secondly, we wanted the ability to think beyond profitability to support people and planet as well. We think a triple bottom line focus lets us support all three important issues, making money while helping people and protecting our environment. Now, as you research this space, you will no doubt hear about big companies touting blockchain for food. Sounds great. But why is the tool the most important thing? Isn't the impact more important? Nearly all of these firms are approaching the problem from this tech tool perspective. They want to create the best hammer they can and then go looking for nails. We're taking a different perspective. Our approach is to look at the bigger business questions. How can we provide more visibility into high-value shipments without increasing complexity or cost? In today's supply chains, we don't learn about ruined shipments until they've already happened. So how can we use this technology and sensors in particular to stop them from being ruined in the present? And even better, how can we use predictive AI algorithms, which have been around for years, to know when something is going to go wrong in the future? Those are the questions to start with, not how can we apply blockchain to this? Now, as with any digital transformation, it's not about implementing new technologies. There's also the make or break human component. Success depends on bringing people along. We need to educate people in these new technologies and show them the real tangible financial benefits of visibility. We need to streamline workflows, not add to them. And we need to show them a world that's no longer propped up by fax machines and filing cabinets. What does that look like? How is it easier? Do I have to make changes in my production line? How do I help my workers understand the need to change? So along those lines, I'm pleased to announce today that we've signed our first enterprise-grade pilot, tracing perishable food products for one of the country's biggest distribution networks. I can't tell you who, not just yet, but as soon as I can, I will share the results of that pilot. Let's just say that we will not only be helping stop food waste, but we'll be helping create more food security for millions of Americans who are hungry right now. Some investors, including Net Capital investor Richard Vincent, thank you, Richard, have asked about blockchain. Last year, we postponed blockchain integration to get to market more quickly, but depending on our market demand, some kind of distributed ledger will be likely in our roadmap for 2021. It's a great question. It's just not the main part of the solution. On the R&D front, we've begun design specs and sourcing for our printed sensor offer. Imagine a temperature and humidity sensor that's printed on conductive graphene oxide on a thin biodegradable film. When a prototype is completed, we can really make a difference with sustainable technologies that can be composted. so we won't be adding to the massive electronics waste stream that currently exists. In other news, I'm pleased to announce that just before the holidays, we wrapped up our 5th cohort from General Assembly, a private international trade school based in New York City. Once a quarter, we engage General Assembly students in solving specific research and experience design problems that help refine our platform. For example, our first cohort created a groundbreaking research study on consumers and their desire for more transparency and data about their food. You can download this study at j.mp/2020 food decisions-netcap. Other General Assembly cohorts have researched and designed our first version of our mobile app, our desktop platform, and our user workflows. While we obviously benefit from their talent, their work, and their independent perspective, they also receive real-world hands-on experience, educational credits, and endorsements to help them grow in their careers. It's a great relationship that benefits both parties. So, as you can see, while we've been quiet, the team has been working hard to advance the business. One last bit of news, in the next few weeks, we'll be hosting a video webinar series on agriculture and supply chain tech, featuring our partners, Intel and Microsoft, along with experts from ag tech, organic food brands, and social impact. We'll announce the dates as soon as possible here on the Net Capital page. If you can attend, it will be great for you to hear from these big corporations on how ag tech like ours is impacting the world. I want to thank you for watching. I especially want to thank you for investing and for your support for our team. We've extended our race for a few weeks, so if you're a believer in a more transparent, more certain supply chain, please forward our page to others that you know who may want to own a piece of the company. Every dollar helps us build a better system, one that will reduce food waste, shipment losses, and will empower our food producers and logistics companies to survive the remainder of this pandemic and prosper in the years ahead. And on behalf of my amazing Transparent Path colleagues, we'd like to wish you and yours a saner, safer, and more certain 2021. Thank you.